there, this is Doctor, and welcome to Legacy of Power. It's officially Power Month, so we are celebrating 30 years of Power Rangers. I thought it would be really fun to rank all the themes from Mighty Morphin to Dino Fury, but I'm not alone. Joining me is Stewart Branscome from APlus Hero Report. Stewart, do you want to introduce yourself if people that don't know you?
Hey everyone, how is it going? I am Stewart here from, like you said, APlus Hero Report, and anyone who's watched that channel probably knows that I am obsessed with Power Rangers, so excited to talk about the theme songs, because I actually don't think that's something we've ever talked about on Hero Report. I don't think we've ever really gone into details of which themes we like, which ones we don't, so this is exciting.
Definitely. I'm very curious to see how our list compare and contrast. You know, do we have the same theme songs at number 1? Do we have the same theme songs at number 20? So I guess you're going to find out soon.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we will be ranking the themes from our least favorite to our most favorite. So let's kick things off with number 20, which will be our least favorite theme song or songs. Stewart, you can go first.
All right. So my least favorite theme song also comes from not a terrible season, but not a good one. I think a season with a lot of ambition, poor execution, and I think that really just all kind of comes down to the show's budget at the time, and that is Operation Overdrive. From that look, I feel like we're going to see it higher on your list. That's interesting. My least favorite, it was the first time they tried doing I guess they kind of did it with Mystic Force, but it was like the first time they tried doing a rap with a Power Rangers theme song, and it could have worked. But in the case of this, to me, it just kind of came off as just like really bland, and like, you know, it almost feels like the person singing is just really bored, if that makes sense. It's my personal least favorite of the Power Ranger theme song, so it's definitely very bottom of the list.
Well, I do have Operation Overdrive on my list, but when I will say what I feel about it when I get to it. So my number 20 is actually, I combined 4. Mega Force, Super Mega Force, Samurai, Super Samurai. Honestly, in my opinion, these songs are so similar to each other. They sound like Mighty Morphin when I hear it. So to me, they at the very bottom. These are not songs I listen to on a day-to-day basis, and I could totally be okay with not listening to these theme songs at all.
Yeah, I'll give a little more of my thoughts when we get to it, but I do think that the biggest issue with it is that it's just not original. It's literally just Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's a cool cover, but when it comes to, you know, every season always having a different theme song, you don't expect them to ever just kind of go back and be lazy like that.
And they were really lazy. Really lazy.
Yeah, because not only did they reuse it once, they reused it twice. And that's why, kind of like on your list, when we get to it, Samurai and Megaforce are literally going to be in the same place because they're the exact same song. Just they start at different verses, and they, instead of Go Go Samurai, it's Go Go Megaforce. But besides that, they're exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, number 19. All right. I'll go first on this one. Number 19 for me, Ninja Steel / Super Ninja Steel. I feel like this also has an element of Mighty Morphin in the chorus. It's kind of original, but I do hear MMPR in it a little bit more. And also, I took offense with the fact that they refer to as Dan as Earth's greatest ninja. I think Ninja Storm would say something about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they got like a whole school of ninjas that are probably at the very least on par with him, if not better. At the least, they should have like given him backstory of going to that ninja academy. That would have been kind of cool,
right?
Yeah, I'll give a little more thoughts on Ninja Steel soon, very soon, just to give you a little hint on where it is on my list. But before we get to Ninja Steel, there is a theme song that I also really dislike, and this one actually comes from my favorite season of the show. Best season, one of the worst theme songs, and that is Power Rangers RPM. I give him props for ambition, because again, they tried something different here. Unfortunately, it just didn't really, to my opinion, work in execution. It has like a cool kind of beginning where it's like Power Rangers RPM, very heavy metal like. but then it's like, and then it's just kind of, that's all we get. It's then just kind of a very repetitive tune for the rest of the theme song, and you just kind of stop caring after that, you know. So that's why it's like very low. It's not like bad, like it doesn't make me cringe how bad it is, like with Overdrive, but it is just like so boring and bland. I just don't care. And on top of that, what sucks is I've actually listened to a few demos of this theme song that came out before the actual show was released. They actually had Dan, one of the singers from this band I really like called Ninja Sex Party, and he was like almost the guy that did like the theme song for RPM, and his version of it, his demo, you can check it out on YouTube. I think it's like the third demo they did. It's really catchy, but I think the reason they didn't want it was because it was too lighthearted, and they really wanted something kind of grittier for, you know, the darkest season. So I like what they were going for. I get why they went this direction. It's not catchy is the problem.
I've never heard that demo. I definitely got to check it out. I want to listen to it now that you brought it up.
Yeah, I'll link it to you after the video.
Sure, definitely. And I actually do like the RPM theme song. I listen to it, but that's me. Okay. That's me. You're gonna wait to see where it is on my list. I think it'll surprise you.
All right, I'm actually liking this. It seems like we already like the first two songs on the list, and we're already kind of a little different for the most part with where we placed it.
Definitely. All right, number 18 on our list. You go first on this one, Stewart. Number 18 on your list.
My number 18 is your number 19, and that is, of course, Ninja Steel and Ninja Super Steel. One huge issue I have with this theme song is that it's like it can't decide what song it wants to go with. It's like at first it's like trying to be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like you said, but then it like tries to be a completely different song with not the chorus, but with like everything else. With the verses, it's like it's trying to be a new song, and then the chorus is just like a completely different song. And then it also, on top of all that, it just doesn't know when to end. Like it feels like when they get to the chorus, they're about to end the song, and then they just keep going. And it's like it feels like they're kind of just making the song up as they go along. Is like the best way to describe it.
For me, my number 18, I think you're gonna be surprised by this. Dino Charge, Super Dino Charge. I feel like there's an element of MMPR in this chorus. The song is mostly original. I do like that they chant Power Rangers, and it kind of sounds like they're chanting, like one of those chants. But I feel like it kept elements from Megaforce and Power Ranger Samurai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with like the Go Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny because like I feel like this was a little bit original, but I still hear that Mighty Morphin. You get me?
Yeah.
But as long as I can hear the Mighty Morphin, it's not original.
It's funny. I won't spoil it, but that song is actually really high on my list. And I'll get into why. Okay. But that's so interesting. I didn't expect it to be that low on your list.
Yeah. These songs are not songs I listen to on a daily. That's why they're so low.
Yeah. All right.
Number 17. My number 17 is Beast Morphers. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I like the techno at the beginning. It's mostly original, and it's the first theme song, I guess you could say, of the Hasbro era. So I'll give them, a thumbs up for trying. But I still don't like the fact that you can still hear some elements of Mighty Morphin, and it says Go Power Rangers, So I gotta knock some points off for that.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a theme song. It's just not very inspired, if that makes sense. It's just super basic, and it's like it's there just to do the opening credits. It doesn't, and I think part of the problem was this was at the point where Nickelodeon told them they were only allowed to have like 30 seconds for their theme songs, and I think that's what kind of just made it very boring in my but regardless, I definitely agree. It's not quite that low on my list, but I definitely agree it's not one of my favorites.
Yeah. All right. I'm curious to hear what your number 17 is. So far, our list has been way different.
They have been. Awesome. So my number 17 on the list is Mystic Force. Again, this one actually isn't like too bad. It's just like forgettable at times, and much like RPM, I think one of my issues with it is that I heard a demo that I actually liked a lot more, and I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get that. And it was like a Ron Wasserman cover of the demo. But I just when it comes to Mystic Force, it's just very like kind of bland and forgettable.
Wow,
And I'm guessing by your look that it's high on your list.
it is high on my list. I actually like the Mystic Force. I like Mystic Force.
That's
awesome. I think you're gonna be shocked to see where I put Mystic Force on my list.
I'm sure I will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, not again, the fact that we're now on the part of the list where I like don't hate the theme songs are just not very memorable. I feel like the only two that I really dislike were probably the bottom three. Now we're at the part when it comes to Mystic Force where it's like I don't hate it, I just don't love it. It just it's not like too catchy,
Mm-hmm. I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, number 16, Stuart. What is your 16th theme song?
My 16th is your 17th, and that is Beast Morphers. I feel like I gave a lot of reasons of why I didn't like it, and that is just because, it's just quick and basic. Again, not a bad theme song as a whole. Like, I can listen to it. I just don't really get anything from it.
For me, my number 16th is actually Dino Fury's theme song. I felt like this theme song had a lot of techno at the beginning, which, I don't mind techno. But again, I heard elements of Mighty Morphin, and I felt like it was a little similar to Beast Morphers. However, the difference between them, I feel like it kind of became its own thing, which is why I ranked it a little higher than Beast Morphers. But still, I don't hate it, but it's just not my favorite.
Yeah. I'll get a little more into my thoughts on it when I get to it on my list. But for the most part, I do definitely agree with everything that you're kind of saying about it.
Thanks. This has been so far interesting. We're going to enter number 15, and we don't have one song which is cool. All right. Number 15, Stuart.
All right. My number 15 is Dino Fury. That's why I wanted to wait, because it was literally next on my list. So yeah, no, it's same thing like you said. I really do like in the beginning part where there's like a lot of techno stuff going on that I actually do find really catchy. In fact, like that first 5 seconds of it, when you hear the voice Dino Fury, and then it has like the little techno aspect after that. Love that whole beginning part. And then it just becomes Go Go Power Rangers, and it's just like it's like you said, very similar to Beast Morphers, and that's where I just stopped caring.
I feel you. I definitely do. I don't know how you feel, but like for me, Samurai through Dino Fury, they all sound the same. I feel like there's no originality, because every time I hear their theme songs, in some way or another, I hear Mighty Morphin. You know, I feel like RPM was the last original theme song that the series had.
That is true. RPM was the last one before they all like started to sound exactly the same. I do have one exception to that, but it's really, really high on my list. So we'll talk about it when we get to it.
All right. So my number 15, there people might be surprised by this one, Ninja Storm. And the reason why it's, this was Disney's first season, and I think they did a really good job with it. I liked that they did a whole voiceover at the beginning explaining Ninja Storm. I actually really liked it, and I didn't think it was a bad thing, but it's just not one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, I like Ninja Storm as a season. It just definitely, it's one of those. It was the one where I first stopped watching Power Rangers only because of how different it was from everything before, with it going with a much more comedic tone, being a lot more zany. And I think the theme song was also like kind of part of that too. It's, again, the first one that wasn't just like kind of hardcore rock. It kind of took like a little bit of a break on the rock and just kind of made it more chill. It was a very chill kind of theme song, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I do see what you're talking about. It's kind of chill, Yeah. So I do get it. Okay. Number 14. So my number 14 is Jungle Fury. I feel like the beginning makes me feel like I'm in a jungle. Like I'm about to go on some jungle adventure, which I guess makes sense because it's Jungle Fury. And then, I like that little transition that they do from the jungle part to the lyrics, which I think is pretty cool. Again, it's not one of my favorite theme songs, but it's okay.
Yeah. I'll give my thoughts when we get to that song. Spoiler alert, it's a lot higher on my list. But my number 14 is actually Ninja Storm.
Oh, okay.
Which yeah, so like it is a chill theme song, but it's also not super memorable. And I think it was Linkara from History of Power Rangers that kind of pointed out how similar it sounds to Barbara Ann in when it gets to the chorus specifically.
Mhm.
But it's just I think like my reason it's so low on the list is that it doesn't really get me pumped. I feel like for a Power Rangers theme song, what its main job should be is to get you pumped to watch the show, get you excited, and the show. And like I mentioned, it's a chill theme song, which isn't bad, but it also just doesn't get me excited to watch Ninja Storm. It's part of the problem.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. Really understandable. And I do agree with you. A theme song should get you pumped to watch the show. Like you should be like you should be ready to morph with that theme song.
Exactly.
Okay. Number 13 on your list, Stewart.
Number 13 comes from a season that I feel like is very, very mixed for a lot of people. Like, I think for me, I definitely would say the first half of the season, not my favorite, but I think it gets a lot better in the second half, and that is Turbo. Shift into Turbo. I do think it is a fun, really catchy theme song. This is where we're getting to the part of the list where I actually really like the theme songs of the show. So I think this is, so like when it comes to like the difference between Ninja Storm and Turbo, Ninja Storm's a song that I don't mind listening to. Turbo's a song where it's finally like something I will actually go out of my way to listen to every now and then. But I think like from the beginning of it, shift into Turbo, and then from the actual like rock that we get from it, yeah, I think it's a great way to get you excited for Power Rangers. And plus, I just think like the overall phrase they use, shift into Turbo, I love it. That's why I kind of went with the name Turbo Sue when I first started doing, my YouTube channel, like, and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's fascinating. I actually really like the Turbo theme song. And I don't know about you, but like I've actually sometimes when I drive, like and I switch from parking to drive, I'm like shifted Turbo.
Yes, that's awesome.
And I had a red car at that time, so I'm like relating Turbo power.
That's awesome.
All right, so my number 13 might actually shock you. It's Operation Overdrive. And the reason why I chose that number 13 is, I actually did like the hybrid. To me, it kind of sounded like it was a little mixture of rock and rap. So I actually really liked that. I didn't think it was a bad theme, and I feel like kind of like Ninja Storm, the theme kind of explains what the season's going to be about. And also, Operation Overdrive has a special place in my heart. It's the season that got me back into Power Rangers, and I just feel it's a very underrated, underappreciated season.
Yeah, again, like even though I'll give like Overdrive some crap every now and then, I do appreciate aspects of it. Like again, I do like that they were trying something very different, very ambitious for the season. It's just too bad that Disney kept screwing them over like season after season by dropping the budget even more and more and that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, that is really fascinating. My least favorite theme song is actually like pretty high on your list. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'd say so. So for me, going forward, it's all from 12 onwards, all the theme songs I like, and it was really hard for me to rank them. So this should be interesting.
Okay, so this is where it became challenging for you. Awesome.
Yes, this is where it became challenging for me. All right, number 12.
My number 12 is Zeo. Something I really love about this theme song is that it really does. You know how we complain a lot about how the Nickelodeon seasons are just reusing Go-Go Power Rangers. For Zeo, it made sense because it was the first season after the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So when they have the beginning of the intro, it's like them talking about how the Rangers are back, they're stronger than ever before, they're ready to go, the threats are bigger, the stakes are bigger, everything about this theme song is still bigger, or everything about the season is still bigger. And then it gets to the chorus, which is Go Go Power Rangers, and you realize, okay, everything's bigger, but it's still Power Rangers. It's still the show that you know and love, but with bigger stakes, stronger characters. They're more mature, and yeah, it's like, to me, the Zeo theme song is the perfect way to say this is an evolution of Power Rangers. We're not just continuing the show because we can. We're continuing it because we got a good story to tell.
I love Zio. Honestly, I love Power Rangers, and I think you're gonna be shocked to see where I rank Zio.
All right, yeah.
So my number 12 is RPM actually, and I like the opening narration. It tells you what the season's gonna be about, pretty much. And I also like the transition between the opening and the middle section. And I can hear that fight sequence. Like I can hear it, and I like that.
Mm.
So that's why I ranked RPM at number 12.
Okay, so it's like when you hear the theme song, you kind of like it's almost like you're hearing a fight scene going on at the
Yeah,
same time too. That's okay. That's interesting. That's cool.
yeah. Maybe it's because like when I listen to it, I watch the video, so it's like I could see it in my head visually.
Yeah, I think it's because it's one of my least favorite theme songs. I haven't listened to it over and over, so I don't really get that. All I hear is the song. I don't really remember like exactly what the video for the theme song actually looked like. I just remember the song itself.
All right. All right. So, number 11 for me is SPD, Space Patrol Delta. I actually really like how it starts with SPD emergency and then you get that little music. Oh my god, I think it's a very catchy theme. And I really, really like SPD. But, I haven't heard the extended version. So, that's why it's kind of like low on my list, but it was really hard because I did like SPD, but I have other songs that I like more than SPD, so that's why it's at number 11.
Number 11 for me is also SPD.
Oh, okay.
Like you, I love the beginning of the part, SPD emergency, and then boom, it just kicks off, right then and there. And yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this was Ron Wasserman's last theme song that he did for the show, and he really went out on a bang. I love not just the song itself, but I love the editing in the intro. I love kind of the comic book panels that they use, like not only just in that, but also they even use it in the show every now and then. It's awesome. It kind of gives me like, a really cool vibe of like, it almost feels like procedural cop drama meets Men in Black, if that makes sense.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
And it's done so well. Really gets you hyped and ready to, watch the Rangers kick some ass.
Nice. I think it's interesting that was our first and so far only match.
Took us to get to number 11, but yeah, we finally got one on the exact same place. That's awesome.
I'm curious to see if we're going to get any more because we still have quite a few seasons to go.
Yeah.
So now we're actually entering our top 10, our most favorite theme songs, our top 10 favorite theme songs. This should be interesting.
All right. My number 10 actually comes from the first season I would watch when it was new, and that is Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. First one that I really got into. Now, I had seen reruns of the previous seasons because, of course, I have older siblings, so they used to watch those shows all the time. But Lost Galaxy was when it really like amped up. And I really liked, the theme song was just, I love the way it starts with, just kind of the tune of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. And then, I think just from there, it just kind of keeps going, keeps a really fun momentum the entire time. And again, I love the way it kind of simplifies the plot of the series, like a lot of the other theme songs that we've talked about. But it does it in like a creative way, and it just it's fun. It's a really fun theme song.
I do have to agree with you. I'll give more of Lost Galaxy when I get to it. So my number 10 is actually Power Rangers Wild Force. I really like that growl at the beginning. And then you can hear the rest of the animal sounds throughout the opening. And I feel like that just adds to the overall theme of what Wild Force is. So that's why it was number 10. I actually kind of just recently started listening to the theme song again. So that's why it's pretty low on here, because it was not a theme song that I used to listen to constantly until recently.
Okay. It is on my list, and I'll definitely give my thoughts when we get to that.
Okay. Number 9. For me, it's Lost Galaxy. Because I like when you hear Turn on the Power, like how you said. I think that's simply badass. And also, I don't know about you, but I worked out to this song. I've gotten some good
Oh,
cardio
really?
out of Lost Galaxy, you know? But also, I had to like Google the lyrics because I thought it was far away deep in space to a galaxy unknown, but it's really to a galaxy you'll go. I felt like such a fool for not knowing.
Wow, I actually didn't know that either, like until just now.
Yeah, because I've been saying galaxy unknown, and then when I Google the lyrics, it's like, oh, galaxy you'll go. My bad.
Sounds so similar. It's really
Right?
easy to get it mixed up. But yeah, no, I can see that. That's funny.
All right, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Lightspeed Rescue. Yeah, I think kind of like with Lost Galaxy, I really love how it starts out with like kind of the name of the theme song, and then kind of gives you a really cool rundown of the type of story that you'll be listening to. And the lyrics are really creative, also, to my opinion, and much like how I which one did I mention it for? I think it was SPD. I mentioned how I really like the editing for that one. I really love the editing for Lightspeed Rescue. I think the clips that they use from the show are just like the perfect ones to really get you hyped up and to show that much like Lost Galaxy and pretty much all the previous Power Ranger seasons, it kind of feels like from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Time Force, every theme song just kind of is there to show you that as the show is going on, the type of characters we're following are becoming more mature, because now we go from Power Rangers that are teenagers with attitude to now we're going with Power Rangers that are full on adults, who have full-time jobs and that kind of stuff, where being a ranger is now like their job as like full-grown adults. And it just makes the show feel so mature. And when you're like a little kid, it kind of makes you feel like you're watching an adult show, if that makes sense. It feels like you're like watching one of the grown-up shows.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, number 8, Stuart.
You're going to be mad at me for this one. I'm just letting you know right now. But the thing is, yes, it's unoriginal. Yes, they weren't very creative, but it is kind of catchy. I do really like the cover that they use in both Samurai and Megaforce for Go Go Power Rangers. I think it's a very catchy cover. I think the main thing that I don't like about it is having the characters say their names. I think that just kind of ruins the momentum of both songs. But one thing I do really like about it is I love the guitar riff. I love... God, I love, again, I know I've said this the past two on this list, but I really love the editing, like the fight scenes that they use and the way they cut from one to another. It's really fast paced, and I really like that. Yeah, I just think even though these are two really like kind of not good seasons, to my opinion, especially Megaforce, I think it's just terrible. I do think their theme songs are very, very catchy, even if they are very lazy, because it's literally just Go Go Power Rangers, but like, it's like, whereas Go Go Power Rangers was just rock and like borderline metal rock, this is just it kind of comes more off like almost like punk rock, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm very surprised that you have it that high, but I guess that just goes to show that we have different tastes in the theme songs.
Yeah. And I'll say this too, like, even though they're high on my list, I'm kind of glad they were low on your list, because I feel like again, laziness that kind of went into making it, they don't deserve to be like too high on anyone's list because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do agree. So my number 8 is actually Time Force. I really like the part of the theme song where it says Timeless Wonders, Fire and Thunder. I think that part is just pretty badass. But also, like, just Time Force in general is a pretty badass season, and I think the theme song suits it really well. And I actually really like this song. It's not one that I do listen to it, but that's why it's at number 8. It's not one that I would maybe have on my playlist because it's so short. I haven't heard the extended version, if there's an extended version.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I don't remember ever hearing an extended version of it, but yeah, it is a very catchy theme song that's a little bit higher on my list, so I'll definitely get my thoughts on it when we get there.
Number 7, lucky number 7. You know what theme song is lucky number 7 on mine? Turbo. I actually really like Turbo. It literally shouts shift into turbo. You can hear that engine. When you hear that engine, there's just something about that engine that makes me want to get into my car and drive somewhere. It's like you're revving up your engine. And like I said earlier, I don't know about you guys, but I've got into my car and switched from park to drive and shouted shifting turbo. Okay, so I can't be the only one that's done that. Come on, people.
I haven't done that in my car, but I have definitely found an excuse or two to use the phrase. In fact, I actually do remember one time at work, someone asking me, "Dude, why is your YouTube channel called Turbo Stew?" And I'm like, "Oh, because I love the phrase from Power Rangers Turbo, shift into turbo. It's the coolest thing ever." But yeah, like it is a very, very catchy theme song. Even though it was like kind of lower on my list, it was still like right at the point where I got to the theme songs that I actually will go out of my way to listen to, and this is definitely one of them. I haven't, while I've never like gone shift into turbo while driving, I've definitely listened to this theme song while driving and thought, oh man, I've definitely like lost myself to driving to this song, thinking how cool would it be if I was like driving one of the cars from this season.
Right. The only thing I dislike about Turbo, well, actually no, there's a lot of things I dislike about Turbo, but I don't know how to do that more. If it's like so they do it too fast. I did it once and then I
Like,
can never do it again.
or something like that.
What's your number 7, Stuart?
My number 7 is Power Rangers in Space. Great season. I love from the countdown, I'm just like hooked just from the countdown of being in the beat of the song, kind of going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in space, and then it really takes off. So I think the build up, the momentum in this is so perfect. I think the fact that this was meant to be the final season of the show, and they used the lyrics of flying higher than ever before. There's really like a sense of a finale when it comes to this song. It really does feel like the end of something, even though it didn't end up being the end of Power Rangers. It was definitely the end of an era, and I think the song perfectly represented that.
I do agree with you. I'll say more on in space when I get to mine because it's higher. It's higher. Number 6, Stuart. What is number 6 on your list?
You know how I said there was an exception to the Neo Saban era theme songs that one that I really loved? That would be a Dino Charge. I was kind of surprised at how low it was on your list because I actually really love this theme song. Yes, it uses Go Go Power Rangers, but it uses it in a different way, and it feels like it just uses it to kind of keep the momentum of the song going and doesn't really rely on it as a crutch as like the other theme songs do. Because even when it comes to Dino Fury, when it comes to Beast Morphers and Ninja Steel, they may be like not just a carbon copy of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it feels like they're really using Go Go Power Rangers as a crutch. This song doesn't. It feels like it's just using it like to keep the momentum going. And then I just love the lyrics to this song. In a world full of strife, we have to fight to survive. I think the only thing that doesn't work about the lyrics when it comes to the show is that the show is very much like a comedy-based show. The stakes don't feel super high until like the very end. So it is kind of interesting to have these epic lyrics to a season that really isn't really trying to be that epic. But regardless, if we're just counting the song on its own, I think it's such an incredible theme song. And it's you talked about how I believe you said it was Turbo that you've used as your workout music. I've used Dino Charge as my workout music at certain points. Like there's just something so catchy about it. And especially like kind of the way it ends too, I love it.
Okay. Now that you've said all that, I can see why. I gotta go back and listen to it. Okay, so maybe I'll get a new appreciation for it.
Oh, and then like you, I also love the beginning of it. I love kind of like the build up towards it. Because you mentioned that, I think if I remember, you said that you did like the beginning of the theme song, right?
Yeah, I did. It sounds like a chant, like someone's chanting, like power,
Yeah, kind of. It almost feels like kind of like a caveman type of chant, which is perfect for a theme about dinosaurs, and especially one where you have a caveman as a Power Ranger.
Exactly. So my number 6 is actually a Lightspeed Rescue. We like the siren at the beginning, and like you said, it's totally about saving the world. And I feel like the theme song captures that perfectly. It says "Rangers save the day," and it does make you feel like an adult. This is like you said. I actually really, really like Lightspeed Rescue as a theme song, and I would definitely do listen to this constant when I play Power Ranger teams. Lightspeed Rescue is pretty high up there.
Yeah, we both mentioned like how we like listening to the Turbo theme song when we're driving, and then just kind of like imagining ourselves as rangers. If I
Mhm.
did that with Lightspeed Rescue, I feel like that would be dangerous because then I'd get a little too into it. I'd be like, "Yeah, Lightspeed Rescue!" Just like
The signal
slam, just
is
like floor
calling.
it.
All right. This is going to be interesting. Our top 5 theme songs. And my number 5 might surprise you because it was pretty low on your list. Number 5, Mystic Force. And I really, really like the Mystic Force theme song. I've heard the extended version. It's a really cool theme. And it's the only rap theme of Power Rangers. And I feel like it just doesn't get enough love. But I do wonder why they went with the rap theme for this season as opposed to the usual rock theme. But I think the rap theme is what sets it apart from the others.
Something positive I will definitely say about Mystic Force. I do really like the very beginning of it when it sounds like very mystical and enchanted before they actually get into the theme song. And yeah, even though it was very low on my list, it was definitely a song that I didn't hate. It's just not one that I really go out of my way to listen to very much. But yeah, it is really interesting seeing it so high on your list. I
Yeah.
got to listen to the extended version because I didn't even know there was an extended version of it.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes. It's like 5 minutes.
Oh,
I'll send
wow.
it to you. Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change your mind.
It might. You might see it suddenly super high on my list after that.
All right. So what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Time Force. I love that theme song, especially just from the beginning when they just like they chant Time Force, Time Force. And then yeah, like you kind of mentioned, just the lyrics and the way they're saying just feel extremely catchy. It's just like the perfect theme song to even though it wasn't like the end of the Neo or not Neo Spawn, sorry, the Saban era, like there was still like or post Zordon era. I don't know what you would call that from Lost Galaxy to Wild Force, but it was like I don't know. It's just a really fun theme song. It's hard to say everything that I liked about it. I think something that really helped too was like definitely the guitar riff that you get when they do the guitar riff, and then I think the clips that they use from the show for the theme song are great. At the time, Matrix was like huge, so when they use like clips that were very clearly inspired by Matrix, when it comes to them dodging the bullets, and when it comes to the two Megazords, clashing in the air, I think that was like an incredible, clever way to really hype kids up onto this season. Like, hey, your parents won't let you watch Matrix, you can watch Power Rangers Time Force then.
Oh wow. Yeah, I do agree with you. And that's why I like Time Force. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube. There's a guy that mixed the Power Ranger theme songs with like shows and movies. He mixed Time Force with Back to the Future.
Unusual Suspects, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love his edits. They are great. The one he did. Yeah, so I did one a while ago, but it got taken off of YouTube. But I did one with Legends of Tomorrow because it's also like a time travel show with Time Force. But no, I love his videos. They're great.
Yeah, same. I really like all his mashups.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Number 4. Oh my god, we're getting down to the wire. Number 4.
My number 4 is Wild Force. I like you. I just love the song. I think it starts out huge from the beginning. Just like the moment it starts, it's like kicks things off from the beginning. From the time they say the theme song, and then that momentum just like keeps going. I especially just love that chorus, Wild Force, Power Rangers. I think it kind of slows down when it gets to the chorus, but then when it gets to like the lyrics, but then when it goes back to like the chorus of the theme song, it's just so loud and so like catchy that you don't care. I think it's just a really fun theme song, and it's another one that I haven't worked out to yet, but it's one I could see myself working out to.
Okay, I gotta next time I go to the gym, I definitely gotta play Wild Force. I haven't worked out to Wild Force either, but I could see it being a good workout theme.
Yeah.
My number 4, I absolutely love this theme. It's my favorite theme out of all the Disney era ones. That's why it's really high on my list. I really like the guitar riff in the middle, and I feel like you can hum along to this song. At number 4, Power Rangers Dino Thunder.
It is. It is a great theme song. Okay, we talked about earlier like misunderstanding lyrics. Okay, the weirdest way I've ever like misunderstood a lyric. I got to be careful like because it might get this video demonetized. So if you're worried about demonetization, feel free to edit this part out. But when they say protectors of the right, I always thought, like, as a kid, they were saying protectors from the Reich, like what? I'm like, whoa. So for the longest time, having not seen the season, because I had heard the theme song before I'd ever watched the season, I was like in my head picturing this was a season where they fought like Nazi dinosaurs or something like that, and it turned out, oh no, it's protectors of the right.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
I could see why you thought that.
Just something about the way it was like said. But yeah, no, it's a really catchy theme song. I definitely agree.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, dun dun dun. This is our top three.
And for we made it.
Yes, we made it. So for me, my number 3 is actually In Space. That countdown at the beginning, which starts at 5. If you heard the extended version, it actually starts at 10. That to me is forever iconic. But what makes this theme so special is, like you said, this was meant to be the grand finale, the high-end flyer than never before. You know, kind of made it sound like this was it. And I feel like since this is one of the most beloved seasons of Power Rangers, the theme song suits it so well. And at this point in Power Rangers, we will way beyond using the Mighty Morphin remix. But In Space is my number 3.
Yes. Oh man, such a great theme song. My number 3 is your number 4. I feel like this constantly is happening a lot. Like one of us will have one, and then it'll be like the next one on one of our lists, like the for the next number. But anyways, mine is Dino Thunder. Like you, I absolutely love the guitar riff, and I heard this theme song long before I even watched this season. I don't remember when it was, but I had heard it on YouTube, and you know, even though I wasn't watching it at the time, it definitely made me think that maybe I should go back into the series and finally, you know, go back into it. Unfortunately, I didn't. I really wish I did, because it was such a great season 2, and they brought back Tommy, so I would have been like hella hyped. But yeah, it was such a catchy theme song. The guitar riff was great. The lyrics, the singer was awesome. The again, clips they used from the show perfectly matched, like were in sync with like the rhythm of the song. I absolutely loved it. And yeah, I think that, yeah, the lyrics were great too. Yeah, even if I did misunderstand what they were saying at one point.
No, yeah, I do agree with you. The lyrics are really, really great, and I think we all misunderstand the lyrics. You know, to us, we say certain things, and when we Google it, it's like, oh, that's what they were saying. All right, here it is: the top 2 theme songs. Ooh, number 2, Stewart. What's your top 2 theme songs? You start with
number 2 is Jungle Fury. It's my favorite of the Disney era Power Ranger theme songs. I really love just the build up, the very jungle like build up with the bongos, and then when it like kind of kicks off, it really kicks off. You know, it's kind of funny, like the two like kind of wild themes of Power Rangers, they have a very similar kind of pacing in terms of the theme song, but I feel like while Wild Force was great with the way they did it, I think like Jungle Fury just took Wild Force and absolutely perfected it. I think the vocals were really you know, soothing for the ears, and I think like the rock riff was like absolutely amazing. And then you know, I feel like, I know I keep bringing up editing, but you know, when it comes to like just the footage they use from the show and the way it sunk up with the song, I feel like it worked so well. Everything about this theme song works amazingly, and it gets you so pumped up to watch, you know, one of the most kick-ass like kung fu seasons of the series.
That's very well done. You know, I gotta rewatch Jungle Fury. Actually, I've seen episodes of Jungle Fury, but I haven't seen the entire season of Jungle Fury. So I gotta rewatch it. Maybe I'll get a new appreciation for the theme song when I actually watch the season beginning to end.
It's like funny because on Twitter I see so many people saying Jungle Fury is underrated, but I feel like I see so many people saying it to where I'm like, is it underrated? Because I feel like it's a pretty well appreciated season. I don't think I can say it's underrated if everyone's saying it's underrated, you know?
Yeah, I think I can see why people would say Jungle Fury is underrated, because when it comes between Ninja Storm and RPM, I feel like the seasons that Who are talking about the most are Ninja Storm, RPM, definitely RPM.
Mhm.
Dino Thunder, maybe SPD, but you don't really hear people talk about Jungle Fury. At least I don't. Maybe it's because I have a wrestling Twitter, so and I don't really see. I see some Power Ranger stuff on my Twitter, but maybe it's because I have a wrestling Twitter, so I don't get to see a lot of more Power Ranger content on my Twitter. I don't know. That's probably at least.
Well, it's always funny because like it wasn't until like I really started following Power Rangers online that I realized, man, a lot of Power Ranger fans are also like wrestling fans. Same vice versa. There's a lot of wrestling fans that are Power Ranger fans. It's two fan bases that I never would have thought would mix very well, but it like when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. I've been saying this for years, but nobody believes me. Thank you. Joe from the Illuminati is a wrestling fan.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Their
they do wrestling content all the time on the Illuminati.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Bullet Club, but their shirts are actually inspired by a wrestling faction named Bullet Club.
That makes sense.
If you look at the design for the shirts and then you look at a Bullet Club shirt design, they drew inspiration from that. And Jason David Frank was a wrestling fan. He was backstage at Monday Night Raw when they would go to Houston and stuff, and he was always taking pictures with the wrestlers. So
I always wanted both him and Stephen Amell to do WWE together at one point because I would have loved to have had the Green Ranger versus the Green Arrow.
Oh, that would have been cool. And speaking of Stephen Amell, he's actually going to be on Monday Night Raw on the July 17th edition.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I still need to watch Heels because Indy keeps like mentioning how great that show is.
He's probably going to promote Heels. That's probably why he's showing up.
Ah, smart.
Yes. Oh, we haven't done my number 2, right?
Yeah, no, I was like, yeah, we got to do your number 2 before we go to number 1.
All right. So my number 2, it's a classic, the original, Mighty Morphin. I feel like you just hear Rita Repulsa go, ah, and you already know that's Mighty Morphin. You hear the, it's time to conquer Earth, and then the Alpha Rita has escaped. You just knew shit was about to go down. And I feel like even if you haven't kept up with Power Rangers, you just hear that and it immediately takes you back to the 90s. And not to mention, the extended version of this theme song is simply badass.
Oh my God, yeah. I guess I'll get into it because I think process of elimination is kind of clear what my number 1's going to be. So I'll get into it, when we get to our number 1.
So number 1, yes, here it goes. Number 1. For me, this might come as a surprise for you, but for me, my number 1, my favorite theme song has to be Zeo. I know it sounds like Mighty Morphin, and I ragged on Ninja Steel, my Power Ranger Samurai, and Mega Force for sounding, for being unoriginal, but I gotta give Zeo a pass because this was only the 4th season, technically. So, but those high notes, God, I freaking love this song. I really, really do. And I think it's like one of the best theme songs they ever made. And like you said earlier, it still gave a sense that it was Power Rangers, but the stakes got bigger. And that's why Zeo is my number 1. I freaking love this song.
Yeah, everything you just said there, 100% agree of why Zeo works really well. And unlike, Samurai and Megaforce, it's not like they were just rehashing the theme song. It was that they were evolving the theme song like they were with the franchise itself. It doesn't feel like, the theme song is just like a crutch. It feels like it's an evolution,
Definitely. And what's your number 1?
So as much as I do love, the evolution of the theme song, as much as I, didn't mind the remakes because it was pretty high on my list, obviously with Samurai Megaforce, nothing is going to beat the original for me. Very, very catchy. And like you said, it makes you feel like you're back in the 90s, like you're a kid again, waking up in the morning to watch a new episode of Power Rangers, trying to find out whether or not this is going to be another Monster of the Week episode, or if this is going to be another one of their really epic 1, 2, 3-parters. Man, everything about this theme song works. You mentioned the extended version. I love the extended version of this theme song so much. And yeah, this being like the first one that Ron Wassman, of course, did, as it was the first theme song for the series, it was great. It was a great way for him to really show off what he could do, especially when it came to the music that he would later do with season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I love, I love the whole rock theme of it. And even like, I love how the beginning, kind of reminds me of Doom in like kind of the guitar riff that they do. It very, very much feels similar to Doom. And I think that was like one of the real things that kind of got me hooked from the beginning. I'm like, ooh, Doom. And then it gets to the lyrics. I'm like, oh no, this is something else.
It's hard to disagree with you, and that's why the ranking Zeo as number 1 was really hard, because I was like, I really, really like Zeo, but I totally understand why you would pick Mighty Morphin as your number 1, because it's the classic, it's the original. You can never go wrong with listening to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song, or even the extended version. So I think this was really interesting and really, really fun to do.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, a lot of with the exception of SPD, we didn't have any in the exact same spot. We had a couple that were in a very similar spot. Like, I would have one that's 16, you would have that one at number 15, or same vice versa. But besides that, I love how we also had theme songs that you had super high on your list, but were really low on my list too. I love that. I think that's like kind of the cool thing about music, is that it's, much like comedy, music is like one of the most subjective things like on the planet, so it makes total sense why our list would be so different.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's why I really wanted to do a collab for this, because I was like, I'm very curious to see how maybe Stewart or Adam would rank their theme songs. So
yeah, I definitely I gotta hear Adam's thought on our video to see what his rankings would be, because I'm very curious.
Me too. I asked him but he forgot. He totally forgot about this video, and I know he's been busy, so I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, being a parent definitely takes a lot of work.
I can only imagine. With that being said, I guess that concludes our ranking list. Let us know in the comments how you would rank all the Power Rangers themes. Stewart, where can people find you on social media?
You guys can follow me at TurboStew01 over on Twitter and on Instagram. And of course, you guys can also find me at APlus Hero Report, where I do, reviews for different television shows. And of course, we have our podcast every Sunday, APlus Hero Report. Definitely join us for that. It's a lot of fun. We talk about, all sorts of pop culture news that's relevant for that for that week period, pretty much.
Yes, they're really one of my favorite podcasts to go to for my Marvel, DC, and nerd pop culture. They're really fun and awesome guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. I do have some more phenomenal content coming out for Power Month, so don't forget to like and subscribe so that you get notified whenever I drop content or go live. And if you like pro wrestling, I do review wrestling Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, sometimes Saturdays. If you like Power Rangers, I do have some unboxings that I've done over the while, so feel free to check those out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!